What's up EFD? With the Champions League back on our screens this week, here are 10 teams you should be keeping your eye on. Let's go. 10. PSG. Last season, PSG finally fulfilled the dream set out by their owners in 2011, reaching the Champions League final and narrowly losing out to Bayern Munich, having not even made the semis since 1995. So expectations are even higher at the Parc des Princes this term, but with few signings this summer, plus a public spat between manager Thomas Tuchel and sporting director Leonardo, things aren't looking too happy for the French giants all of a sudden. And having been handed arguably the toughest group in the competition, the club's German coach faces some potential stumbling blocks with his job on the line. But despite the defence looking weaker without the leadership of Thiago Silva, Tuchel's attacking options still measure up favourably against the very best in Europe, with Kylian Mbappe currently contributing to a goal every 52 minutes and Angel Di Maria creating nearly 4 chances a match. With RB Leipzig looking to exact revenge for their semi-final defeat in the summer, and PSG looking to do the same to Man United for their controversial exit in 2019, we've got some tasty battles in store. And while their UCL implosions in years gone by have been pretty entertaining to watch for outsiders, if they can top the group, Neymar and co have as good a chance as anyone. 9. Borussia Mönchengladbach. Having qualified for the Champions League group stage for the first time since 2016 and just the third time since the competition's rebrand in the 90s, Borussia Mönchengladbach have their work cut out for them, with a trip to Inter Milan and the visit of Real Madrid kicking off their latest European campaign. But as we saw last season, they are a force to be reckoned with under Marco Rose, with the former Salzburg manager winning nearly 60% of his games in his first campaign at Borussia Park, and getting the very best out of young players like Marcus Thuram, Denis Zakaria and Briel Mbolo. And with his penchant for lightning-quick breakaways and intelligent pressing, his side will no doubt cause their more prestigious opponents problems. Rosa also has a taste for an upset, with his Salzburg side beating Borussia Dortmund and recording a famous comeback win over Lazio on their way to the Europa League semi-finals in 2018, before doing the double over RB Leipzig in the following season's group stage. Having spent much of his playing career under Jurgen Klopp at Mainz, Rosa is building the kind of reputation his former coach enjoyed at the beginning of the 2010s, and having kept hold of his best players this summer, his side are undoubtedly a dark horse in this year's competition. Before we move on to our next team to watch, just a quick reminder to subscribe to Euro Football Daily and hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. We're going to be covering the Champions League all season, so you really don't want to miss out. 8. Ferencváros. With their last big achievement in Europe, a Cup Winners' Cup final in 1975, and their last involvement in the Champions League being 25 years ago, it's been a long time coming for Hungarian outfit Ferencváros. And while they're the lowest ranked team in this year's competition, they didn't get there by fluke, beating Celtic, Dinamo Zagreb and Molde in qualifying. And they've got the ultimate reward, having been drawn in the same group as Cristiano Ronaldo's Juventus and Lionel Messi's Barcelona, and they kick off with a trip to the Camp Nou. The fact they are currently unbeaten in 9 European away fixtures will give them a sliver of hope. Interestingly, their other opponents are Dynamo Kiev, who beat them in the Cup Winners' Cup final all those years ago. One to watch is Tokmak Ngwen. Born in a refugee camp in Kenya before moving to Norway as a child, the winger joined the Green Eagles in 2019 and made an instant impact, ending the season as their joint top scorer. And he's kicked off this campaign in style, netting 3 in qualifying and 4 in the league. 7. Chelsea. While Chelsea's start to the 2020-21 season has left us with more questions than answers, expectations are still high for Frank Lampard, whose team impressed at points during the 1920 Champions League campaign. They were, of course, trounced by the unstoppable Bayern Munich in the last 16, but their 4-4 draw with Ajax was one of the matches of the tournament, while Mateo Kovacic put in some of his very best displays in a blue shirt, dominating the midfield game after game. They, of course, have a bigger armoury this term following a busy summer of transfer dealings, and while we're yet to see the best of Kai Havertz or Timo Werner, the return of Hakim Ziyech and Christian Pulisic from injury promises to make the Blues attack one of the very best in Europe, while the signings of Eduard Mendy and Ben Chilwell should make them less vulnerable at the back. Considering they were averaging more shots a game than Liverpool, Leipzig and Real Madrid last season, that's a frightening thought. And with youngsters like Reece James and Mason Mount possessing a year more experience and starting the campaign in fine form, they have the potential to make a big go of it in the UCL this time round. 6. Rennes. 2020 has been a fantastic year for Rennes so far. They qualified for the Champions League for the first time ever, managed to keep hold of teenage sensation Eduardo Camavinga, and have kicked off the new season in dominant fashion, topping Ligue 1 after 6 games, with 0 losses recorded at the time of writing. And while manager Julien Stéphan has lost key players, with the aforementioned Edouard Mendy going to Chelsea and Rafinha signing for Leeds, the club has also conducted some smart business in the window, with former Lyon forward Martin Terrier and former Amiens striker Serhou Guirassy already integral members of the first team. Guirassy already has 3 goals and an assist in 5 appearances, while Terrier is averaging 2 shots and over 2 dribbles a match. Camavinga has also started the season on fire. Playing a less defensive role this term, the soon-to-be 18-year-old has seen his tackle and interception numbers drop significantly, but is now creating 1.5 chances per 90, up from 0.3 last term, and already has a goal and an assist, not to mention 2 caps for the national team. If he can hold his own in big games against Chelsea and Sevilla, expect to see his market value rise even higher. 5. Red Bull Salzburg. They may have lost Erling Haaland, Takumi Minamino and Hwang Hee-chan in 2020, but Red Bull Salzburg remain one of the most forward-thinking sides in Europe, having only strengthened their grip on Austrian football under former New York Red Bulls manager Jesse Marsch. Last term, they scored 110 goals in 34 league games, averaging 3.2 goals a match, with 22-year-old Patson Daka picking up the scoring mantle after the departure of Haaland. Luckily, the Zambian striker stayed in Austria despite being linked with a move to Tottenham, and the same can be said for Dominik Szoboszlai. The 19-year-old is being monitored by a host of Europe's top clubs after a stellar 2019-20 campaign, where he hit double figures for goals and assists from left midfield, and averaged nearly 3 shots per 90 in the Champions League group stage. Very impressive given he was facing Liverpool and Napoli. With Atletico Madrid and Bayern Munich awaiting this time round, Salzburg don't have it any easier, and dropping out into the Europa League will be far from a failure. But they won't go down without a fight. Despite not progressing to the last 16 in 2019-20, they scored 16 goals across 6 group games, more than Liverpool, double Atalanta, and the same as Manchester City. 4. Borussia Dortmund. The club Erling Haaland left Salzburg for, Borussia Dortmund is now home to a number of the world's top young talents, and manager Lucien Favre has taken no issue with giving substantial minutes to his teenage cohort this season. Gio Reyna has already made 3 starts, repaying Favre with a goal and 3 assists, while new signing Jude Bellingham, who like Reyna is just 17, has been keeping Julian Brandt out of the first team. Meanwhile, Real Madrid loanee Renier has received limited minutes so far, but will surely enjoy more game time as he gets up to speed with the Swiss coach's system. As for Haaland, he's already making a dash for the European Golden Shoe, netting 4 times in 3 games and is now taking 3.7 shots a match, up from 2.3 last term. Keeping Sancho is obviously a positive too, especially considering BVB would have been preparing for his departure earlier in the summer. With such a wealth of technically adept, skillful and rapid players in their forward line, Dortmund fans will fancy their chances of making the quarter-finals and perhaps go even further. 3. Atalanta. 2019-20 was the season that the wider football world finally got up and began to take notice of Atalanta, and they were simply impossible to ignore, hitting a record-breaking 98 goals in Serie A and almost writing a fairy tale in the Champions League, losing their first 3 group games and coming back to qualify for the last 16 where they annihilated Valencia. They of course came just minutes away from dumping PSG out in the quarter-finals, a match in which they were clearly the better side for 70 minutes, only to be undone by the brilliance of Neymar and Mbappe in the final moments. And their heartbreak in Lisbon hasn't had a lasting effect, as they've picked up where they left off this term, topping the Italian top flight after 3 matches and averaging over 4 goals a game. What's more, their squad hasn't got any weaker, with their only significant sale being Timothy Castagne, who ranked 12th in the squad for minutes played last season, with the talismanic pairing of Papu Gomez and Josip Ilicic staying put in Bergamo. Expect an even stronger performance from La Dea in Europe this term. 2. Inter Milan. Last season's Europa League finalists, Inter Milan are once again one of the most talked about teams on the continent, but they haven't made it to the Champions League knockout since 2012, when they still counted Diego Milito, Lucio and Walter Samuel among their squad. What's more, manager Antonio Conte doesn't have a great record in the UCL, only reaching as far as the quarter-finals once with Juve in 2013, and only recording a 39% win rate in the competition. For comparison, his compatriot Maurizio Sarri has won 50% of his Champions League games. And it's not going to be easy this time round either, with the aforementioned Mönchengladbach, Shakhtar Donetsk and Real Madrid awaiting his side in the groups. But while their defence has looked vulnerable at the beginning of the campaign, last season's stars have hit the ground running, with Lautaro Martinez and Romelu Lukaku both scoring 3 goals in 3 appearances in Serie A. New signing Achraf Hakimi has already scored and provided 2 assists to boot, and will no doubt be keen to show Zinedine Zidane what he's missing at the Bernabeu, while the experience of Arturo Vidal, Alexis Sanchez and Ivan Perisic will be useful in big games. However, if he doesn't sort out the back line, Conte could be punished. Either way, there will be some super entertaining games in Group B. 1. Liverpool. Having made the 2018 Champions League final and gone one better a year later, Liverpool's exit at the last 16 in 2020 came as a bit of a shock, even if they were deservedly beaten by an Atletico Madrid side at the very top of their game. After all, until then, Jurgen Klopp hadn't lost a 2-legged European knockout tie as manager of the Reds. But following a transfer window in which they added serious depth to their midfield and attack, they look even more capable of challenging on all fronts this term. Having been drawn in a group with 2 of Europe's most attack-minded sides in Atalanta and Ajax, they could do some serious damage going forward, while their defensive frailties at the beginning of the campaign show they can be got at too. After the draw, Klopp said they'd been put in a proper football group, and they will no doubt be a part of some high-scoring matches. But despite their recent humiliation at the hands of Aston Villa, Liverpool remain, along with Bayern Munich, one of the 2 best sides in world football, and their standards are such that a semi-final place should now be seen as a minimum requirement. With Real Madrid, PSG and Barcelona all failing to strengthen significantly in the summer, Reds fans should be confident their side can go all the way this year. So those were our 10 teams you should be watching in this year's Champions League, but did we miss anyone we should be talking about? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like, subscribe to EFD and check out all of our other great content. Thanks for watching and see you next time.